welcome back to my channel. It is Yasmin. Today I thought I would just have a little sit down chat with you and explain to you what I have in my home gym and why. I know I've done videos before, like plenty of these where I'm working out and I have all of these things in there in different videos except for the boxing gloves, but I haven't done a video where I've explained to you why I have certain things and why this is enough for my little home gym setup without having to buy expensive big equipment. Right, so let's get to it. So first and foremost is my ball. Now, a lot of you are big fans of this ball, and I know you want me to do videos of me jumping on it, bouncing on it, or anything like that, but this is my possessions, and these are things that I love and I'm proud of and I actually use for practical uses. So the reason that I have one of these balls is pretty much as it's like a stability ball. It's like an elevation. So if I'm doing chest presses or push-ups, for example, I can use this instead of a bench. It's also really soft and padded. Sometimes I just use this as a seat because it's super soft and comfortable to sit on as just like an alternative for like sitting on the floor, which I actually really like doing. Also, I'm not like a yogi guru or a Pilates guru. These are something that I'm kind of learning and I'm very amateur at that, but it is really good for doing core and postural kind of exercises. For example, if I'm holding it and then I get it with my legs and balancing things. It's actually used a lot in yoga and Pilates, but this is essentially like, for myself, a lot. It was primarily because of its elevation, and I can use it instead of like a bench, and it's also really easy for me to transport, such as if I move house, I can just deflate it and blow it up again. Pretty much the same thing as why I have this small ball. Now this small ball, I can use it as like a small elevated platform for doing push-ups, instead of like a kettlebell, for example. If you've ever worked out on a Bosu ball, it's really good for teaching the body how to balance. So if you saw in one of my previous videos, I did some push-ups in which I was balancing on one arm with this ball. Same thing goes for this big ball. Is a lot of the exercises on it are actually advanced moves, but then they can also be used for beginner moves, such as like if I was to put this at the back and do squats, I can use this as a very beginner way to do some squats. So they're very versatile pieces of equipment. The reason that I have this beach ball, and I know a lot of you are fans of this beach ball as well, but for different reasons, is I kind of use it similarly to this. If for Pilates moves, when I like grab it and then I use it for core strengthening, it's just a little bit bigger than this one here, but it is not for sitting on, it is not for bouncing on, you guys. But this was actually a gift that I got given in a goodie bag from my gym because, you know, anyway, that's why I have that. Now let's go on to a belt. Now the belt traditionally is used so when you're lifting very heavy weights and squatting, that you don't get a hernia, which is when the muscle pushes through. But however, it's also used, and what I use it for, and what my former coach gave me this belt for, is by detraining the abdominal muscles and to give a nice hourglass shape. So training with this, I'm not training these muscles within here except when I take it off and do abdominals. So therefore they're not getting an extra workout, so that my shape would be more like this rather than like this. Now I haven't been doing this in quite a long time. I used to do this religiously and it does work. It's kind of like that same method as in the olden days women always wore corsets. It's the same principle pretty much. Now the problem with this is you have to be very careful that you're getting enough oxygen and you're breathing properly when you're exercising, because if you're not breathing properly, you can get a lactic acid buildup and actually cause a lot of like tightness and knots within other areas of your body, such as your back. So I don't really recommend this unless you really know what you're doing, because you can cause some long-term issues which are going to need some more remedial work in order to correct if you don't know what you're doing. The next thing that I have is some resistance bands. Now I have three kinds of resistance bands. I have these elasticized ones. I have these bands here. I have these bands here. And then I also have, let me open this for you. I just store them in this container. In fact, these came in this container. I just store them in here because it's easy. I have these rubber ones. Okay, so Basically, these rubber ones are very, very inexpensive, you guys. You don't need to get them from sports stores. You can pick them up at a physiotherapist and they cut it by the meter for you. They can come in different strengths, such as, you know, I've got a couple of different resistance here. The problem with these though is that they can snap very easily, but when you're not paying very much for them, you're not really at a loss, but it is very inconvenient. It can be a little bit inconvenience when they do snap at you. So they're very inexpensive. You can travel with these, like I've traveled with these loads. You can like tie them around things and do such a variety of exercises with these bands. You can tie them up and do them. If you lose one, it's no big deal because you haven't paid a lot of money for it. As I said, if you're going to start out and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you're on a budget, they are the way to go. You can pick them up from a physio. As I said, you don't have to go to a sports store. The reason I have the elasticized ones is because they are a lot more durable, but they are a bit restrictive because they are smaller, so I can't get a bigger range of motion as if I was to use these bigger ones. Such as I can do chest workouts a lot easier with these as compared to this. And this, by the way, has the least amount of resistance in it compared to the other two that are in there. So that's why. These are really good. They're gonna last me literally forever. They came in a pack of 3 and they also came with a little booklet with a bunch of full body exercises to do them as well. Now, these particular set, let's put that away. This particular set here came with the 3 again. It's pretty standard that when you buy resistance in a set that they do come with the 3, light resistance, medium and the tougher resistance in there. Now, I got gifted these by a little fan and I'm eternally grateful. These are absolutely amazing because they will do pretty much what these rubber ones do here, but they will not break like those ones, and they also come with a handle. So essentially, like, I can remove these as I go. I can have the light one, the medium one, or I can add 2 together. These are super good for traveling. I can also, if I go outside, put these around a pole and do a whole bunch of variety of exercises with these. I honestly feel that if you want to get one thing and one thing only to do a whole bunch of exercises with, you're going to get a bunch like these here. This will be like your ultimate go-to everything kind of essential that I would say get. But you can also, it's lightweight, you can travel with it. If you move house, it's no big deal. You can pack it up. It's not going to be heavy and take up a bunch of space or anything like that. That is what you get. So I do have a skipping rope in here. I won't open it up, but I have a skipping rope in here. This was gifted to me a long time ago. Very, very thank you and grateful for this. Skipping rope essential again if you want to do some cardio, especially if you're traveling and the hotel doesn't have a gym. And I've taken this traveling with me. You can do it at your home. You don't need a lot of space. This would be sufficient space for it. It is a high intensity cardio. It will get the heart pumping a lot. I don't know if you ever did from school. I don't know if you have it in your country, but in Australia we have this jump rope for heart because your heart can race a lot when you are jumping rope. It's an essential. Now I do have some hand weights here. Now these are 1 kilo each. Yeah, 1 kilo each. So I had these in storage. There's no actual reason why I have 2 lots of 1 kilos. Just I had these in storage when we went into that form situation that we're just in. So I just got another pair of like 1 kilos. But if I want to, I can have that and then that and make them a 2 kilo. It's really quite simple because these are so small that you can really, you know, make it a 2 instead of a 1. There are some exercises that you would want 1s for, which like doing a straight arm lateral raise on a diagonal and going very, very slow. The lighter you need is pretty much fine, if that makes sense. But sometimes you would want a 2, so it's kind of like versatile. I mean, depending on where you are, like I know a lot of you guys out there are going to be, oh, that's too light, and for a lot of girls, you'll be completely fine. Honestly, I'm going to tell you this, it's not about the strength and the weight that you're lifting, it's about the technique and really getting in there inside the muscles. So even guys, you guys, like having a 1 kilo is completely fine because you might want to get at that particular muscle and you just really want to get in there, and you can't get right in there if you're lifting very heavy, unless you're like a pro, and in that case I won't go into that. So I was gifted these little dumbbells as well, which was like awesome because when we went to that situation, there was a shortage of exercise equipment. Now these particular dumbbells are 4 kilos each, so that's 8 kilos in total. But mind you, like, I don't know, these are an Adidas brand. I know in America you call it Adidas, but anyway, whatever. I don't know how the weight, I mean, they said 4 on there, but honestly, like, I know they just feel heavier than 4. So I can't be 100% accurate about what exactly that they are. For me, they're perfect. Like, this just does not make sense to me. That's 0.5, 0.5, 0.25, 0.25, which is like 1.5. No, this doesn't even make sense. 1.5, 1.5, that's 3. That does not make sense, but then they were meant to be 8. Anyway, I don't know what that like. I don't really understand why it's like that. Like, maybe it's pounds. No, that can't work out. So I don't actually know for sure how much these weigh. But anyway, you get the drift. But these also come, like, these are able to be pulled out. So I can make these lighter. So if you're going to look for a dumbbell set, rather than buying one, like different kind of ones, I honestly love these. I mean, they were gifted to me, but they are so practical because I can modify how heavy that these are going to be, so I can do them for a variety of things without having to have multiple sets of dumbbells, if that makes sense. So I have actually 2 kettlebells. Now these are 12 kilos each. I've got another one, but I didn't bring it out for the purpose of this video. Okay, I love training my legs heavy, guys. Like, I've got big, thick, chunky thighs, and I train my legs like 2 times, 3 times a week. Even when I'm at the gym, I like to squat heavy. I just do. And I mean, like, to be honest, like, when I say heavy, I don't squat like bodybuilder heavy, but my legs are big, you guys. They're used to squatting like a decent amount. I just wasn't getting the right that I really, really wanted from like these, but I also really utilize these in the sense of, like, I could do push-ups, like elevated push-ups, advanced ones using kettlebells as well. So don't necessarily need your heavy kettlebells, but this was like a personal, I needed it because I loved, it's my favorite body part to train, and I do like to sometimes, I just really want to give it a really good workout. And with the 2 of them being 24 kilos, I feel like I'm actually accomplishing something with my legs. Now, I do have some ankle weights. In fact, I have 2 pairs of ankle weights, and the only reason that I have 2 is because I had these ones that are in storage, much like these little dumbbells here, and I just like, because if you follow my channel, like from that other one and the diary that I was doing, you'll understand that I had stuff in storage and then I pulled it out and blah, 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 but that's the only reason that I have 2. But you know what, again, when I went and bought these, I was like, oh, I know I had those in storage, but whatever, because sometimes I put both of them on each ankle at once, and it's just heavier, right? Now, ankle weights are awesome because you can also team this up with some bands, and it really, instead of using like an exercise equipment like an adductor or an abductor, you can use ankle weights instead. But also, you can go for walks with these. Like, I go for walks with these all the time. Instead, like, if I want to just go for a walk day, I'll put some ankle weights on, and I've got a bit of resistance within my legs. And I could also team this up with some hand weights, from just some really light ones, and I'm just going to be burning some extra calories with this extra resistance whilst I'm going for a walk. So it's not just a walk, it's a walk with benefit, and we all like a walk with a benefit. Generally though, if I'm just going to go for a walk, I don't team it up with a double. That's only if I'm like training my legs at home, doing abductors and adductors, or like squats and then leg raises, just for double kind of resistance with that. If I'm going for a walk, I will use these ones, also because it's got a softer surface in there and it's easier for me to clean down than it is with these ones here. Boxing gloves. Now, the boxing gloves, these were gifted to me a long time ago. I used these actually for a photo shoot. I'm not a boxing kind of person at all, like, I'm just not, but you know what? It's always good to have some boxing gloves. You never know when you want to kind of like punch something, you know what I mean, just for some stress relief. Boxing is also really good cardio and good for your coordination skills, so it's kind of like not an essential thing, but you know what, it's a really good item to have anyway. So last but not least, I have Last but not least, I have my massaging tools and my rolling tools. So I have, oopsie daisies, I have obviously a stick roller. This was gifted to me a long time ago, but thank you very much. I travel with this everywhere. These balls are able to be moved up and down the stick. It kind of works similar to a foam roller. But a foam roller you can put on the floor and kind of roll out with it. A foam roller is great, you guys. If you don't want to get these balls, get yourself a foam roller, and I'll explain to you why in a second. So this particular stick I'm able to localize exactly where I'm able to massage and roll out. I'm able to do various areas. Be very careful with this if you're doing your neck area. Similar in resistance and like strength to one of these balls. Now these balls is great if you want to like put it on the floor and roll it around and everything. It really gets really deep into those muscles. Do not use this on your upper neck or your head. The reason being is it's hard and it's kind of like going on a brick. That makes sense. And you've got arteries in here and you could end up with a really, really big headache, and you could even do some damage, so you don't want to do that. In saying that though, I've got a really hard surface and it's slippery, so this will not slip on my floor. Whereas a tennis ball, you guys, a tennis ball, I can put that against the wall, I can put it on the floor, I can put it on my mat, I can even use it up on the back of my head, and I'm not going to be doing much damage because it's really, really soft. I also find it really just gets in those muscles as much as one of these balls really, really do. The problem with this is because of my surface, my flooring, is this slides. So I can only really use this on a mat where it doesn't slide at all. Even if I put it on a wall, it kind of just slips off. So I guess these are good for most things, but your surface needs to be kind of adequate in which to do so. And then I've obviously talked to you about my mat, and that is pretty much all. So I hope you really like this video, you guys. If you do, please remember to give me the thumbs up. It really supports my channel. A subscribe and the bell notification, and we'll see you next time. So everything here that you see is able to be transported. Everything in here serves a purpose, really, except the boxing gloves, which I barely use, but I probably will one day, but that's just because, you know what I mean. I got those from a photo shoot, and yeah, anyway, they do come in handy and they're really good to have. I'm just not much of a boxer, that's all. But everything serves a purpose. Everything is able to be packed up and stored and transported if and when I do relocate. If I go traveling, I can take a lot of things with me when I go traveling. And yeah, but if you really want some essentials, you guys, honestly, I would get yourself some bands, and I would also get yourself a pair of ankle weights. These two items are like, oh my gosh, like I honestly cannot live without ankle weights, and I cannot live without some bands. But pretty much like everything here, I can't live without it. Like these are essentials without expensive equipment that's going to just be stored and heavy to relocate and a pain to like assemble and unassemble and everything. So hope you really like this video. Please remember to give me the thumbs up, the subscribe and the bell notification, and we'll see you next time.